Hey, welcome back to my podcast. This morning I want to talk about Hayden's passing, right? And the effect of this past eclipse and how it can highlight vulnerabilities within us, triggering certain things. Just let me talk a little bit about how I've studied astrology, numerology, and tarot. And some of you know that I have a tarot channel. It's divinity, and I'm a Sag, so I like the occult. I anything that has to do with that the naked eye can't see. That's me. I like to investigate, find out what it is. So I've been drawn to it. So over the past 14 years, while I was, in what I call a sanctuary or lockdown, I took on many things, and one of those was going back to school and also studying the occult, divinity, right? Religion is also part of divinity, so I've studied religion also, but I'm drawn more to tarot, so I've chose that divination as my and added to my creative projects that I things that I do. So when my kids text last night around 9:30, I was sleeping and they said, Hayden, she passed. And I'm like, who the hell is that? And then I looked it up and I saw that it's our little daughter that played in Bring It On with Salone, with Beyonce's little sister, Solange Knowles, right? And I'm like, and then we remember her. I remember her in Scream and her latest films is what Heroes is what my Jen's kids, they're 27 and 23. That's what her latest movies, that's what they know her from, so that's what they watch. But I'm very familiar with her from Bring It On. I must have watched that in the 2000s like a couple of times, and of course Scream. So yeah, when they mentioned her name, I'm like, who the heck is that? So I had to go look it up myself and saw who it was. And yes, she's very popular among Gen Zs, right? So I looked her up because I wanted to see what was going on with her. And I saw that, she had some issues, one article said that she lost her kids, child custody. And when I looked into it more, I saw that she gave up her kids because she had some struggle. She was struggling with some issues, So I guess in 2018 she gave up the right to her child, right? She's 36 now. She would have been 37 in a couple of days. Her birthday would have in a couple of days. So, and she's a Leo, and right now there's a lot of transits that's going on, and the eclipse that went down in Leo. That's her zodiac sign, right? So I want to talk about how astrology transits, how they can affect our mental health, especially when we're going through things, right? And whether you believe it or not, it some people, it's all, no, they don't believe it. They don't believe in such things, but if you pick up a book and read, and you can connect the dots for yourself. I'm not here to convince anyone about anything when it comes to divination, especially astrology. This is something that I've studied over the past 14 years, and I've had my own profound experience, which led me to believe that, cosmic energy is very live and very much effective when it comes to human beings and how, the energy impact our lives, right? So a lot of people we're feeling incredibly heavy right now, and I want to explain to you why this is going on. So I had to look at her birth chart, and I had to look at the night when she passed away. I had a friend that passed away also on August 6th. She's my friend Michelle. I've known her for 30 years. She's 55. She just turned 55 I'm gonna be 54, so she's 55, right? She found out that she had cancer, and it was so sudden, and then she passed. So we're still a lot of people are still grieving, like, because how when somebody they're sick, right? And you know they're sick, you kind of prepare yourself for it. So it was a sudden thing. Like we found out like the end of July, and then boom, August 5th, she passed away. So when I heard about Hayden, I'm like, let me look at her chart. I did look at my friend's chart to the night she passed away, because what happened was she passed away, and like my sister called me when she passed away, August 5th, my sister called like 7:30. I'm in California. She called like 7:30 a.m. and it was like 4 when I picked up the call, 7:40. She called like 7:44 a.m. and when I picked up the call, it was like 4:44. And she was crying on the phone, crying, and she said Michelle passed away. And I just said I'll call you back. So I hung up the phone, and then I went back to sleep. And when I went back to sleep, Michelle came to me in my dream, and so she just had passed, and within hours she came to me and she said to me, walk with me. She said, Susie, walk with me. So I walked with her, and basically what she showed me in the dream was people that she felt the most loved from, right? So she did feel loved in her last couple of years, and she did things that made her life fulfilling, right? But then I hugged her and I started crying. I'm like, it's not time for you to go. It's not time. And she said, yes, it's time for her to go. And then I kind of just woke up out of the dream. And when I woke up, her son called. I'm telling you, it's just weird, because I think I had to give him that message, because he called to let me know that his mom passed away. And I gave him the message, right? So when my kids text about, hey, I wanted to look at her, something told me to look at her chart, because I didn't know she was struggling. Like, it's not somebody that I follow. And I didn't know she was struggling. So I went ahead first, and I'm like, well, what was going on? And the night she passed, right? And you're going to hear me talk about transits, conjunction, and square, or opposing, because these are words used in astrology, and they could be good or bad. It depends on the sign, the zodiac sign that they're in, and also the planets that's transiting in those zodiac sign, right? So on August 16th was the night she passed. The transit on that day when she passed was heavy, right? It triggered the most sensitive points of her birth chart, forming exact alignment with her natal planets. And when we say natal and birth chart, we're talking about if you know the time when you were born, the day when you were born, and the time which is most important, right? You could create your birth chart, and that will tell you about what planets are linked to your birth, right? And what zodiac signs they're in that's also linked to your birth. So that's birth chart and natal. And when we say alignment, this all has to do with the day when you were born. And these are things that will carry you throughout your life, right? So sun conjunct natal, her natal sun, which is Leo. So she's a Leo. So the sun conjunct her natal, which is sun, which is Leo, right? And Leo transit. Remember I told you that Leo is going, Leo went down, the eclipse that was passed the other day, that's wreaking havoc, causing earthquakes and tsunamis. It's going on the zodiac sign of Leo, which is a fire sign, right? The transiting sun was moving through late Leo, creating a solar return, right? So it was going through there because her birthday was coming up, which would have been, she would have been 37, right? So that's one thing that was going down with her, right? The second thing, on the night when she passed, Mars square Neptune, right? And the transiting Mars was in the sign of Cancer, which is a water sign, was locked in an exact tense 90-degree square with Neptune in Aries. So Aries is another fire sign, right? And Cancer is a water sign. So I'm talking about the zodiac sign because I want you to get an idea how different zodiac signs can trigger different things. So one, Neptune, is pretty much the dreamy planet about illusions and if you want to think about stuff in your head, Neptune, the planet, is about that, right? Mars is all about gung ho, hardcore, going hardcore, and it was in the sign of Cancer, a zodiac sign of Cancer, which is a water sign, right? So this is what was going down. So Cancer was locked in an exact tense 90-degree square with Neptune in Aries. In astrology, this specific transit can represent a severe drain on physical vitality, feelings of emotional overwhelmed, or invisible health battles, right? The next important transit that was going on, Venus opposing Saturn transit. Venus is about beauty and love and reflecting on, stuff that, you would have done, or how people see you, or, how you want people to see you, you know what I'm saying? And it was transiting Saturn, which is, Saturn deals with karma. Planet talks about karma. So Venus opposing Saturn, right? Transiting Venus in Libra, and Libra is about law, was moving into a direct, harsh opposing with Saturn retrograde in Aries. I hope you can follow me. I'm trying to explain. So Saturn is karma. Aries is a very, very fire sign. Libra is about law, right? But there was an opposing transit going on. The cosmic tug of war is traditionally associated with heavy emotional isolation, structural limitations, and intense personal reckonings, right? And the last harsh transit that was going on when she passed away, and all this is matched against her birth chart, right? The eclipse, basically, South Node alignment. The universe was navigating the heavy reflective aftermath of the recent eclipse. The transiting sun in Leo was moving to align exactly with the South Node of destiny, an astrological point closely tied to powerful karmic releases and structural endings. So what the eclipse basically did was highlighted her struggles that she was already struggling with. And according to what the article said, there was an overdose, whether it was accidentally or not accidentally. Her mind was just in warp, and the feeling, maybe she was trying to, numb the pain of what she was feeling. We don't know. But I was just curious. I wanted to see what was going on with her. I often do these, and I often do readings on past lives or when people passed away on my TikTok tarot, and I'm also on Facebook tarot, which I do tarot readings, and I've been doing these for over 10 years, right? But again, when I heard the news, I'm like, she's so young. I wanted to see what was going on. Not even aware that she was struggling. She had struggles going down in her life, and I saw that when I looked at them, like, there's something going on with her. I mean, and then when I go back after I looked at her transits, I saw where it said that she gave up her daughter when she was in 2018 because she had some struggle, some issues. And it just that this eclipse that went down for the last week heightened, and caused her to just, her mind to just go, I like to say go there. When I say go there, a lot of times I talk about psychotic break when people take themselves out. And I experienced a psychotic break once, and I'm telling you, it is nothing nice. It is nothing nice, right? It can be brought on by stress. It could be, most of the time, a lot of people think that people that have psychotic break and take themselves out, it's a mental issue. And I talk about this on my blog. Go follow my blog, justsusie.com. I talk about psychotic break and stress. It's not always mental issue. I just remember one day I was studying so hard. I was working full time and bringing home and working on the weekends. So I was working like 60 hours a week and going to school full time and taking care of 3 little kids. And I had a test that I had a test that was coming up. And I remember one Saturday morning I sat there studying, and my mind went there. I spoke about this on my podcast. I think I'm gonna repost the post so everyone you could hear the story. I'll put it up there again. My mind went there. So, and I don't have any mental issues, right? So, yes, your mind within a split seconds of stress when your brain is overloaded with stress. And I never felt it physically, but I guess mentally, my mind was saying, hey, take a break, take a rest. And I didn't want to, I felt that I could just do it all and I couldn't. So, this eclipse just heightened whatever she was going through. And unfortunately, sometimes that's just the way it is. There's no help. There's nothing at that moment. And I want to say this to say that life is precious. Life is the most valuable thing, more than money, right? Your life is valuable, right? But at the end of the day, the reality is life is hard as well. It's very hard. It's hard. It's very hard, right? Some of us can pull through, some of us can't. But what I want you to know is this. Every day when you get up, make the choice to live. Say, I am going to live today. Don't worry about the stuff tomorrow or the day after. Just tell yourself that I'm going to live today. That's one way you could trick your brain, right? So your brain don't go off into start stressing. Just say, I'm going to live today. That's a mantra you could say. I'm going to live today. I'm going to live today. I'm going to live today, right? And don't worry about tomorrow. It's unfortunate, but it's been happening to a lot of people. And the effects of the eclipse is not. I believe it's going to be lasting for a while. So you have the energy right before the eclipse, and the energy right after. So if you feel like your mind is taking you places and you're not aware of what's going on, this is what's going on. And the best thing you could do is find someone you could trust and talk to. Don't be afraid to say, look, tell them that you're feeling this or you're going through this, talk it out. Because when I had that, when my mind went there, I called a friend and I said to her, I'm coming over, and I spent the whole day sitting down talking to her, and we talked, and it worked. So if you feel like, again, your mind's going off to places that it shouldn't go, find someone you could trust and talk to. That's it.